नहीं वो लोग पार्टीज राइट करना ना तो इसमें हम मैं बता देती हूँ
दोनों चीजें भेज दो मैडम को ना, आंसर की भी भेज दो, क्वेश्चन पेपर भी भेज
आंसर की मैं भेज
दो। मिल गई आंसर की तो प्रिंट निकलवा लूंगा मैं बाहर रख लूंगा।
आप मुझे भेज दो मैं आंसर की
भेज दी मैडम को
क्वेश्चन देखते हैं क्वेश्चन में आंसर की भेज देती हूँ
क्वेश्चन पेपर तो बस हम ग्रुप इस पे डालेंगे, ठीक है राइट, सो दैट उन बच्चों के लिए भी सेट हो जाए। चलो गुड टू गो, भेज दिया सबने सब कुछ, ऑल ऑफ थिंग्स एवरीथिंग हैज बीन सेंट, आई हैवंट रिसीव्ड एनीथिंग। हाँ, वेयर इज द क्वेश्चन पेपर आंसर? और ग्रुप पर भी नहीं तुमने लिखा जॉइन टुडेस क्लास। आज मूड नहीं लग रहा मुझे किसी का। हाँ, व्हाई इज इट सो? मैं देखो अपना नेबुलाइज करवा कर आया हूँ तुम्हारे लिए, एंड यू पीपल आर लुकिंग लिटिल ऑफ। व्हाई? इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग डे, इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग डे, आई तो वांट इट टू बी अ शॉर्ट डे। Friday, so Friday party night? What exactly? Chill night, Netflix night. These were not the Friday nights I used to have. There's a song by Katy Perry of Friday night. Easy, yeah. So this you have sent me the answer key, huh? You do not have a detailed answer key.
with explanations.
Just check on YouTube, everything is been visible. I should designate the duties. You do this, you do that, you do this. You checking YouTube? You wrote on group. It's live. Screen is visible. Just check on YouTube. टाइम गैप, हाँ टाइम गैप तो हो गई ऑफ कोर्स। Let's kick off. Meanwhile, send me the question papers. Okay. Sure. Where's the stylus? There's a we audible?
Yes, sir.
First we'll do that. हाँ ठीक है, fine. Okay. Call Pranjal one sec. एक मिनट कॉल कर ले अजित. And call that your lady. Sorry. लाइव पे लाइव ये simply ask as a friend, you can ask independent class. अब इस डॉट को ठीक है. Thank you so much. So we are going to discuss. Let's do the Shubharam. We're going to discuss on 3rd of November. What is this? Black Sea Game Initiative. Don't make noise. What is Black Sea Grain Initiative? Let's first read out and then understand. India has said that the suspension of the Black Sea Grain Initiative is expected to further exacerbate food security, food, fertilizer supply, and challenges faced by the world, particularly in the global south. So, what is this Black Sea Grain Initiative? अगर Black Sea Grain Initiative आता है, how would this impact the world in terms of food security, fuel, and fertilizer supply? Let's see. You know this thing, Ukraine-Russia crisis is going on. It has a lot of impact worldwide. I'm saying worldwide, it is creating a lot of impact on the import, export of oil, on the prices of oil, on the food security, on the global trade, on the global economy. Everything is dependent because of this is anticipated to be World War III. Anticipated, not yet. Okay. Ukraine, one of the largest grain exporters. Normally supplies around 45 million tons of grain to the global market. But following Russia's invasion of the country, mountains of grains built up in silos with ships are unable to do the safe passage because of Ukraine. Now you know that Russia has invaded Ukraine, and Ukraine being naturally a global exporter of grains cannot do now because Russia का influence आ गया. अब उसने अपने जो इतने सारे mountains बने हुए थे, mountains in the sense grains के, ठीक है, दानों के, वो आगे किसको भेजे, वर्ल्ड को कैसे भेजे? It cannot. Why? Because Russia is sitting on its head. Okay. So this is going to create food secure, affect the food security, yes or no? This contributed to the jump in the price. Naturally, ये law of economy है. क्या है? कि जब आपके पास चीज कम होती है और डिमांड ज्यादा होती है, तो फिर prices increase. Prices are bound to shoot up to this extent that it has created food insecurity. Okay. To overcome this, in July 2022, now the UN has to take a part. UN, Russian Federation, Turkey, and Ukraine agreed to the Black Sea Grain Initiative. The deal allowed. Who all the parties? Please remember, July में हुआ था. UN, Russian Federation, Turkey, and Ukraine. What was the deal? The deal allowed exports from Ukraine of grain. मतलब उन्होंने allow कर दिया कि आप यूक्रेन से grain के exports बाहर कर दो, मतलब कर सकते हो. Other foodstuffs and fertilizer, including ammonia, to resume through a safe maritime humanitarian corridor from 3 key Ukrainian ports to the rest of the world. Hello, Pranjal. Audible?
Oh, yes, sir.
So this is the first topic for the day, Black Sea Grain Initiative. Okay? I'll just repeat for you, what is Black Sea Grain Initiative? This has to do with the food insecurity. You know that Ukraine and Russia are in a war position, and Russia has invaded Ukraine. And because of this factor, Ukraine, that had been the world's largest grain exporter, वो सारी दुनिया को supply करता था export of grain, अब वो नहीं कर पा रहा. Why? Because Russia is sitting on the top of its heads. Okay, Russia has invaded. Okay, and because of this, there has been a lot of price increase. क्योंकि आपको पता है, when consumption is there, increases, and the supply is less, then the prices will increase. That is law of economy. Now, to overcome this, the UN, the Russian Federation, the Turkey, and the Ukraine have agreed for a Black Sea Grain Initiative, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा है आप लेके जा सकते हो यूक्रेन से ग्रेन के एक्सपोर्ट्स, एंड बट कहाँ से लेके जा सकते हो? यूक्रेन के ही 3 पोर्ट्स से, 3 पोर्ट्स से. इट कैन नॉट बी डन थ्रू द सी रूट, सॉरी द एयर रूट, लैंड रूट, ऐसे नहीं, सिर्फ पोर्ट्स के थ्रू आप लेके जा सकते हो, एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हो यूक्रेन के 3 पोर्ट्स से टू द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. एंड टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस डील, अब किसी ना किसी को तो वहां पे बैठना पड़ेगा एज अ guard, a joint coordination center, that is JCC, was established in Istanbul, comprising of senior representatives from ये चारों सर्विस. मतलब इन चारों के नुमाइंदे बैठेंगे. All 4 of their representatives will sit there. कहाँ पर? JCC पे. JCC क्या है? एक बॉडी बना दी वहां पर, जॉइंट कोऑर्डिनेशन सेंटर. इस्तानबुल में बनाई है, ठीक है, और वो वॉच रखेगी कि क्या जा रहा है वर्ल्ड का ग्रेन। तो पता चल गया ब्लैक सी ग्रेन इनिशिएटिव. If somebody asks you what is Black Sea Grain Initiative, it is just that Ukraine can send its exports through its 3 ports under the guidance of JCC, and this was signed in 2022 July by 4 people, 4 countries, that is the UN, the Turkey, the Russia, and Russian Federation and Ukraine. Okay, fine. Let's move. Very simple topic. Let's further. What has happened to the Black Sea Grain Initiative now? This happened. You start about July 2022. What is today? November 22. Let's see. Russia has announced that it was withdrawing from Black Sea Grain Initiative. Okay, मैं तो बाहर निकल रहा हूँ. And also note कि अभी बाहर तो निकल रहा है ये, इसका मतलब बाहर निकल जाएगा. अगर ऐसे नहीं हम बोल सकते क्योंकि रशिया ही अभी कंट्रोल कर रहा है किसको, राइट, बिकॉज उन्होंने इन्वेट करा हुआ, राइट और रॉन्ग. So Russia has announced that it was withdrawing from the Black Sea Grain Initiative for an indefinite period, and after it accused Ukraine of a massive drone attack on the Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol and Crimea. रशिया ने कहा कि मैं तो बाहर निकल रहा हूँ. Why? Because उन्होंने कहा कि यूक्रेन ने एक ड्रोन अटैक करा. ड्रोन, you know, unmanned aerial vehicles, ठीक है. तो उसने कहा कि यूक्रेन ने ऐसा करा तो आई विल मूविंग आउट. दिस इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू फर्दर नेचुरली. अगर रशिया बाहर निकल गए तो अगेन वही सेम चीज, food insecurity, fuel and fertilizer, everything would get affected, right? If you know, this is the situation is this. Now it is 2-finger test. You must have read about this 2-finger. No, good. Recently, the Supreme Court has announced that they found indulging the practice of 2-finger on the alleged rape victims will be declared guilty of misconduct. Now, what is 2-finger test? First of all, it is a virginity test. Okay. It is an inspection of female genitals to determine whether the girl had or not the intercourse. Okay. Now, in rare cases, this is identified to find out if actually the situation happened or not. So, just to check out, the Supreme Court has said that we are going to start with the 2-finger test. Now, what is this 2-finger? It is unscientific, regressive, where 2 fingers are inserted into the vagina to assess the laxity of the vaginal muscles and examine the hymen. The 2-finger or per vaginal examination is conducted on alleged victims of sexual assault. जो कहते हैं कि मेरे साथ ये हुआ है, assault हुआ है, उनके साथ ये होता है. Please understand, this is unscientific because it's not a scientific thing. You're putting that and you're finding it out, and it is regressive, not progressive. The test is based on incorrect assumption that a sexually active woman cannot be raped. They assume this thing. If the woman is sexually active, that means she cannot be raped. That is just an assumption which is not possible, but which is not correct thoroughly. Now, criticism. Naturally, this test should have a criticism also. The 2-finger, first of all, scientific basing. Second thing, it instead re-victimizes and re-traumatizes. अब आप बताइए, एक women पहले जा रही है ये बताने के मेरे साथ ये हुआ. पहले तो इतनी उसकी guts बहुत है कि she is going to open to the world that I am being, you know, done with such a assault. And then she undergoes this thing. This how much this will traumatize and victimize that particular alleged, that assaulted party. कितना उसके लिए problematic होगा, right or wrong? Then section 375 rape of the IPC, whether a woman is habituated to sexual intercourse or habitual to sexual intercourse, is irrelevant for the purpose of determining whether the ingredients of section 375 of the IPC are present in a particular case or not. You getting this point? It means that whether the women ko hua hai that intercourse or it is not, it is irrelevant to find out कि वो section 375 IPC के आता है या नहीं आता. Right? Let's understand this snippet that has been made here. This small snippet. You know? What is this? This snippet, let's see. In rape cases, this was used to identify whether the victim was habitual to sexual intercourse. Common techniques are inspection of hymen for size of tears and insertion of 2 fingers to measure the laxity of the vaginal wall. Legal position के the Supreme Court banned this test, stating that it violates the rape survivor's right to privacy. But the state said that they issued a government resolution banning the test for sexual assault resistant pills. And now, at present, if you see, recent receiving survivor's consent for an examination and mandatory presence of female nurse or attendant that is needed during this test. Okay, so this is how we can understand the two-finger testing. Any doubts? Let's move further. What is Eclofenac? That is, the Indian Veterinary Research Institute has demanded a ban of using Eclofenac in canine cattle. Recently, we saw something in cows also. What was that? Which disease was it? Lumpy, no?
Lumpy disease.
Yes. Okay. So, in cattle, after a new study showed that a drug metabolizes into diclofenac in water buffaloes. Okay. So, they have said that Eclofenac को तो ban कर दो. Who said that? IVRA. ठीक है. अब क्या है Eclofenac? Let's see. It is an anti-inflammatory and a pro-drug of diclofenac. Diclofenac से ही Eclofenac को but they are saying इसको ban करो. Why? Because it behaves similar to diclofenac in domestic water buffalo as diclofenac does in domestic cattle. ये क्या नाम है cattle में use होता है diclofenac and this is being used as buffalo. Diclofenac was found to be the main cause of dramatic decline of the vulture population across Asia. You know this thing or not? The vultures were thoroughly suffered because of diclofenac. ये पता है? चलो, anyhow, ऐसी Eclofenac है जो कि इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर रही है कैटल. ठीक है. Now, Eclofenac in buffaloes. Eclofenac in buffaloes poses the same threat to vultures as diclofenac in cattle. ठीक है. बेसिकली दोनों ही एंटी इंफ्लेमेटरी है, दोनों ही इंजरियस है एंड दोनों ही क्या नाम है वल्चर्स को. क्योंकि क्यों ये क्या वल्चर क्या है? यू नो अबाउट वल्चर क्या है? चीज. क्या करता है? किस चीज में फीड करता है? स्कैवेंजर है. वेरी गुड. डेड बॉडीज. तो जो कैटल और बफलो के कैरकैसेस होते हैं उसके ऊपर वल्चर्स क्या नाम है उसको लेते हैं. तो जो अगर हम इनको फीड करते हैं कैटल को किससे? डिक्लोफेनाक से. बफलो किससे? एक्लोफेनाक से. तो जब वो वल्चर उसको लेता है, इनहेरिट करता है या जो उसको क्या नाम है कंज्यूम करता है, that makes it susceptible to death. Getting it? So indirectly these two things are very dangerous for vultures. Next, water buffaloes are treated with aclofenac as a painkiller. ठीक है. क्यों buffaloes को हम वैसे aclofenac पहले देते ही क्यों है? It is because it is a painkiller. And the injected aclofenac rapidly and almost immediately converts into diclofenac inside the buffalo. Aclofenac, diclofenac. Aclofenac has safer alternatives also. इसकी जगह हम क्या यूज कर सकते हैं? meloxicam. ठीक है. And tolfenamic acid. Just note down any one of them. meloxicam कर लो या tolfenamic acid. Okay. याद रखिए एक्लोफेनाक दी इसलिए जाती है बफलोस को क्योंकि पेन किलर की तरह. एंड इसको निकाल, ये नहीं है कि इसके बिना काम नहीं चल सकता. थिंग्स कैन डेफिनेटली गो इफ दे वांट बाय यूजिंग meloxicam. Okay. And if you see the vulture action plan 2020-2025, it also says that the drug is toxic. And what is DGCA, the one who controls the drugs in India, has said to ban its veterinary use. Veterinary for cattle, buffaloes and all. They have also said this. DGCA ने बोला है. ठीक है. DGCA को बताया गया है vulture action plan. ठीक है. You want me to go through again, or you have understood what is aclofenac, diclofenac, what is vultures, what is IVRA, क्या बोले? पता चल गया?
Yes, sir. So please, can you repeat diclofenac once?
Diclofenac is used in cattle. Aclofenac is used in buffaloes. Aclofenac is basically used as a painkiller in buffaloes, and diclofenac basically जो aclofenac है वो diclofenac बन जाता है बॉडी में जाकर buffalo की. And it is not necessary कि हम इसके बिना काम नहीं कर सकते. We can if we use meloxicam or tolfenamic acid. And even the vulture action plan that the government has said, that also says to the DGCI who controls all the drugs in the India, कि please ban this. Why? सारे पीछे की कहानी क्या है? कहानी सिर्फ इतनी सी है कि वो ये नहीं चाहते हैं वल्चर्स को ना ये खाया जाए, राइट और रॉन्ग? वल्चर्स को अफेक्ट ना करा जाए. What do we have next? We have the gangetic dolphin. Now, what is gangetic dolphin? I told you, any animal, any plant, क्या उसके बारे में 3-4 चीजें हैं. उसका status, whether it is vulnerable, whether IUCN, what is this, whether it is endangered, whether it is critically endangered. These should be on your tips. Yeah. Once you do not get to know this, आपको नहीं पता चल सकता. ठीक है ना? Just give me a moment. Now, what is Gangetic dolphin? First of all, it says Gangetic, as the name states, it is in Ganga. Dolphins have started coming out of the Ganga River with improvement of Namami Ganga through the Namami Gange program. Namami Gange is being held through. Hello. एक मिनट बात कर रहा हूँ. शिवम के कैंपस से बैठ के ये करने को पड़ता है.
थोड़ा मिनट के बाद
अंदर भी
वो कौन सा होगा?
तो बाकी वीडियो में क्यों पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं? So, we were discussing about gangetic dolphins. Dolphins have started coming out of Ganga. It is a good thing. Why? Because of the Namami Gange program. जैसे ये program implemented here, the quality of Ganga has rejuvenated, replenished, and because of it, the gangetic dolphins have come back. Now, what is gangetic? It is a fresh water. You cannot store it in a lake or something. Freshwater aquatic mammal. Okay, they are blind and navigate by emitting ultrasonic sounds. You know this thing. पढ़ा है आपने about the concept of sonar? What does sonar work on? Which scientific phenomena does sonar work on? I'm sure you have general science also in this. So don't say solar. Sound तो है ही है, but क्या? What is the scientific phenomena behind sonar? You find it out. Okay. I gave you some homework yesterday. What was it? Correct? क्या मच्छी रिवर कहाँ से आती है? वो तो पता है माल्टा हिल से आती है, वो तो मुझे भी पता है. I'm saying what is the prime source? This river is a distributary of what? Very bad. You need to work on this. Right? If a homework is given, that is not for me to do. That is for you only to do. It is one of the South Asian river dolphin. Okay? The Gangetic river dolphin is primarily found in the Gangas and Brahmaputra rivers and the tributaries. Okay? As I was talking about tributary. In India, Bangladesh and Nepal, the Ganges River dolphin has been recognized by the India as a national aquatic animal in 2009. Remember this thing. हमारा aquatic हमारा what do you call? What is the national animal? No, that is the aquatic animal. What is the flower? An animal? And birds? In a similar manner, aquatic animal? Gangetic river dolphin. Bihar itself has the 50% of world's river dolphin. I told you, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, it is primarily found, and India, 50, not India, otherwise also 50% of the world's river dolphins are in Ganga, Bihar. Gangetic dolphin is at the top of the food chain. Okay, indicator of health of the river ecosystem. Conservation status, I told you, WPA के अंदर Schedule 1 के अंदर आता है, and IUCN के अंदर endangered. Gangetic dolphin के अंदर में Project Dolphin is started. Why? For the conservation of both freshwater and this. And we have the NDRC. What is NDRC? National Dolphin Research Center. That is also in Bihar. Why Bihar? Because 50% of world's genetic dolphins is just in Bihar. Right or wrong? Then we also have Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary. This is important. Why? Again in Bihar, this sanctuary is a 60-kilometer stretch of the Ganga River in Bhagalpur. Okay, and it was in 1991. In which year did we say that Gangetic dolphin is our national aquatic animal? Okay, in 1991, Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary was found. Okay, and it is protected under endangered Gangetic dolphins in Asia. Next, what we have the dolphin as observatory we have. वो भी भागलपुर में ही है, ठीक है? जो विक्रमशिला के साथ ही विक्रमशिला जिस गंजेटिक डॉल्फिन सेंचुरी के अंदर ही डॉल्फिन ऑब्जर्वेटरी भी है, इसके अंदर ही इस सेंचुरी के अंदर ये डॉल्फिन ऑब्जर्वेटरी भी है, ठीक है? ये क्या है? ये क्या करते हैं? बिहार गवर्नमेंट इज सेटिंग द इंडियाज फर्स्ट ऑब्जर्वेटरी फॉर मैमल्स, नॉट ओनली फॉर दिस, ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ डॉल्फिन्स को चेकआउट करेंगे. फॉर ऑल द ऑब्जर्वेटरी इज बीइंग बिल्ट ऑन द सुल्तानगंज अगुवानी घाट में जो होता है. यू डू नॉट रिमेंबर ऑल दिस, ये बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल हो गई है, ठीक है? तो अगर हमने बात करनी है व्हाट डू वी से गंजेटिक डॉल्फिन के बारे में, जल्दी से फर्स्ट थिंग दैट इट इज हैज ग्रोन बैक आफ्टर द नमामि गंगे. It is in the world schedule 1 of WPA. It is endangered under the IUCN. It is present in the Vikramshila, ठीक है, wildlife sanctuary. And this is the national aquatic animal in mammal in 2009. It only goes in freshwater, ठीक है. And further, what you can say that we also have a dolphin observatory. Sorry, Project Dolphin has also been started for the conservation of dolphins. And we can say Dolphin Observatory is also made out. कहाँ पर? In Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary. ठीक है. Special Operation Medal क्या है? Around 63 police officers from Telangana, Punjab, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Jammu and Kashmir have been awarded by the Home Minister's Special Operation Medal for the year 2020. What is Special Operation Medal? First, it started in 2018. Second, the objective is to recognize those operations which have a high degree of planning and high significance for the security of the country and have significant impact on the security. मतलब ऐसे पुलिस ऑफिसर या ऐसे क्या वो ऑपरेशंस जो कि कंडक्ट हुए हैं इनका सिक्योरिटी के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग इम्पैक्ट है. स्पेशल ऑपरेशन मेडल उन पुलिस ऑफिसर्स को दिया जाता है. द अवार्ड शैल बी कॉन्फर्ड जो कि काउंटर टेररिज्म, बॉर्डर एक्शंस, आर्म कंट्रोल, स्मगलिंग, नारकोटिक्स, स्पेशली इन पंजाब दिस इज द मेनास, ठीक है. इन नॉर्मली these special operations are considered for the award, but in extraordinarily they can go out to 5 special operations. ठीक है, ये है कुछ स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस के नाम. जैसे कि अगर किसी बंदे ने, किसी पुलिस ऑफिसर ने काउंटर टेररिज्म को स्टॉप करने में, या बॉर्डर पे क्या नाम है आर्म्स एंड म्यूनिशंस का इंपोर्ट को वो करने के लिए, और आर्म्स का कंट्रोल, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ नारकोटिक्स, इन चीजों में अगर काम करा हो, उस वैसे यूजुअली 3 स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस में अवार्ड मिलते हैं. बट अंडर सर्टेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हम 5 स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस की कैटेगरीज में अवार्ड दे सकते हैं. इसको स्टेट या यूटी पुलिस को कौन देता है? होम मिनिस्ट्री. ठीक है, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज सेड होम मिनिस्टर्स स्पेशल यूनियन होम मिनिस्टर स्पेशल ऑपरेशन मेडल फॉर द ईयर 2020. राइट, कितने बंदों को मिला इस बार? 63. ठीक है. What do we have next? We have the global climate observation system. Now what is GCA? Now, Global Climate Observing System (GCOS). According to declaration released with the GCOS, climate observing system remains fragile and needs financing. Any establishment or any institution actually needs some finance, some principal body which can help it work in its own proper function. If you say that an organization can be working all by itself, it's not possible. Abhi, you know, India has opened its doors in case of मिलिट्री ऑपरेशंस प्राइवेट सेक्टर का करा है नहीं करा? यू नो अबाउट दिस थिंग? प्राइवेट सेक्टर की फंडिंग इंडियन आर्मी में, सॉरी इंडियन डिफेंस में बेसिकली अब इंक्लूड कर दी है. स्पेशली इफ यू सी मेनी ऑफ इसरो's प्रोग्राम, इसरो इंडियन स्पेस रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इसके प्रोग्राम्स अब प्राइवेट एंटिटीज भी फंड कर रही है कुछ स्पेयर पार्ट्स. ठीक है, सो इट इज ऑल्सो समथिंग फाइनेंस करना बहुत जरूरी है अगर आप चाहते हो कि वो स्ट्रेंथन हो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो चलो है क्या पहले तो GCOS. It is a co-sponsored program which regularly assesses the status of global climate observations and produces guidance for its improvement. It is co-sponsored by कौन इसको sponsor करता है? That is important. World Meteorological Organization. Then IOC, UNESCO. IOC is a part of this, offset of this, that is Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO. Then UNEP, UNEP करता है, ठीक है? Then you have the ISC. So all these four, I'm saying WMO, I'm saying UNESCO, UNESCO कौन सा? IOC. I'm saying UNEP, I'm saying ISC. ये all four of these are basically forming GCOS. That is the Global Climate Observing System. ठीक है? अब करता क्या है GCOS वो देखो. GCOS maintains the definitions of essential climate variables which are required to check out Earth's changing climate. The observations supported by GCOS contributes to solve challenges in climate research. So basically GCOS ECV को जज करने में मदद करता है, ऑब्जर्व करने में. बेसिकली GCOS जो रिपोर्ट देता है that shows us के what all changes the governments all over the world required to make to solve the climate. And at specific, you can say the ECVs, the essential climate variables. Right? GCOS basically gives the report. Next, we have Harit ICAR initiative. ICAR पता भी है? ICAR विभाग income tax. Income tax department launched the Harit ICAR initiative on the creation of national unity day. ये किसने सेलिब्रेट होता है national unity day? किसकी उसमें है? कहाँ है स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी? क्या है कुछ खास बताओ उसके बारे में. गुड. कौन से बैंक पे? गुड. Launched by CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. Objectives to increase the green cover of planting trees and creating microforest. तभी बोला है हरित आयकर विभाग. इसको प्लीज आयकर के चक्कर में समझकर ये मत कह देना कि it is all related to income tax and all. It is started by the income tax for planting trees, for creating microforests. कहाँ पर? इनकम टैक्स बिल्डिंग्स के आसपास. ठीक है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ इनकम टैक्स बिल्डिंग के पास नहीं, और पब्लिक एरियाज में भी. Harit Aikar initiative. Further, the department would continue to welcome dignitaries of events and programs organized by potted plants. बस ठीक है ना. तो फर्स्ट सच माइक्रोफॉरेस्ट हैज बीन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड. पहला इन्होंने जो बनाया है अभी वो पंजाब में करा है. क्या होते हैं माइक्रोफॉरेस्ट? कल मैंने एक बताया था कि फॉरेस्ट कैन बी क्रिएटेड विद इन 2 to 3 years. वो क्या था? जापान टेक्नोलॉजी तो ठीक है, नाम क्या है? You were partying yesterday that you could study. It should be on tips. I told you how important it is. Any of us जो पुराने क्लास मेंबर्स हैं on the online medium, किसी को पता है? Not expected of you. चेक करो, जल्दी से चेक करो. This is the time not to slow down, rather this is the time to increase. India वाकई right or wrong करा था? गीतांजलि करा था. और क्या करा था? कहाँ पे हुआ ये एस्टैब्लिश? और क्या हुआ है? मेज फॉर. ठीक है. when the time of your exam is just near, it is on 18th of December, and now you take a step back, it is not possible. Okay? Now, so rather you should pull your stocks more up. The value 2 hours from now it should shift to. Yesterday I discussed of doubling. Did I? What was that traditional and modern? किस चीज का था वो? नाम क्या था? कैम्पो काला
काला नमक काला नमक राइस
हाँ कहाँ का है ये? कहाँ का है ये? कहाँ ये ट्रेडिशनल मॉडल का? हाँ EU? So where has European the right region of? Good, very good. Northeast? Or in which how many districts? What is microforest? It is a small planted forest that maximizes the tree density, and achieving this goal requires planting a wide variety of plants in a fairly dense manner in the plot of land that has dense different layers of flowers and shrubs. Okay, plants typically require anywhere between 8 to 9 meters. अच्छा यहाँ पे याद रखना जो microforest बना रहे हैं ये हरित आयकर विभाग इसमें जो plants है that are basically of the 8 to 9 months की care चाहिए होगी उनको. Okay, then we can establish this microforest. कहाँ पर भी पहला इनिशिएटिव इनका कहाँ पर हुआ है? That is in Artari border. ठीक है. Next, oh, put your head down and let's discuss the questions. Okay. Head down. Okay. First question. Black Sea Green Initiative in July 2022. The UN, Russian, China and Ukraine agreed. True or false, Harshita? China was also part of this Black Sea Green Initiative. Aclofenac is an anti-inflammatory and a pro-drug of diclofenac. Yes, Pranjal. Aclofenac is an anti-inflammatory and pro-drug of diclofenac.
So true.
Harit Aikar initiative is to increase the green cover by planting trees. Yes, Amish. Gangetic dolphin IUCN status is vulnerable. Avi?
False.
क्या है?
Endangered.
Very good. Okay. Let's discuss the CLAT question paper. Do you want me to revise first of all? You want revision for this? What we done in the class? So let's do quickly. Black Sea Green Initiative, I told you, it is basically Ukraine as an importer or exporter of grains. Okay, and when it was invaded by Russia, it has stopped doing that. And this had led to food insecurity. For this, they made a 4-member organization. The JCC came in picture, Joint Cooperation Center, and that is in Istanbul. And 4 of that were EU, Russia, Ukraine, and Turkey. So when they came in picture, they said that chalo theek hai, you can export grains out of the 3 Ukrainian seaports only. Only the sea mode of transportation would be sea. Second thing what they said was, when you move further, it says that UN. Now what has happened to the Black Sea? Russia has said that I'm withdrawing. Why? Because it saw that this Ukraine did a drone attack. And when Russia does that, it will again, bring food insecurity in this. 2-finger test, you know about this. Even the rape victims came in picture. The government said that we'll do 2-finger test. Now what is 2-finger? 2-finger is when you put in the vagina to check out whether she was sexually active or not. And they say, but it is first of all unscientific, regressive. They say that when a woman is sexually active, she cannot be raped. That is the incorrect assumption, right? Further, it is section 375 of IPC under, it should not be there. and it has no scientific basis. Now, what is aclofenac? I told you aclo and diclo. Aclo is in buffalo, diclo is in cattle. Buffalo में इसलिए डालते हैं painkiller की तरह, and when painkiller की तरह डालते हैं, when it goes into it becomes just like diclo, and with vultures who basically live on the carcasses of buffaloes and cattle. So when they feed on this, they actually die. And this has actually led to the 95% decline in the vultures because of this using of these two drugs. And because of this, under the Project Vulture, that is 2020-25, जो बनाया गया उसमें DGCA को उन्होंने यही बोला है, DGCA ड्रग जनरल कंट्रोलर ऑफ इंडिया, उनको यही बोला है कि प्लीज इन दोनों ड्रग्स को आप बैन कर दो. इवन द IVRI also instead, IVI veterinary ठीक है, IVRI. Next, what do we have? Dolphin, Gangetic dolphin. I told you Gangetic dolphin is the national aquatic mammal. It serves on fresh water. 2009 में हुआ था. And in 1981, basically, we started Vikramshila with family. It is present mostly in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Okay? But 50% of the world Gangetic dolphins are staying in Bihar. And in Vikramshila में dolphin observatory बना है. And also, we have also started the National Dolphin Program, ND, in National Dolphin Research Institute, and we started. Where is it? IUCN Endangered and WPS Schedule 1. No, National Dolphin, this is basically NDRC to Hagen. Even Project Dolphin is also there. Okay. Special Operation Medal, I told you, usually 3 categories will appear special operation, but in certain situations, they're given 5. Categories can be anything that is cross-border terrorism, या फिर आप ड्रग्स नार्कोटिक्स को स्मगलिंग को या फिर आप क्या नाम है अपनी टेरिटरी को है ना यू प्रोटेक्टिंग ऑल दिस बेसिकली इंडिया present data is given by the Ministry of Home Affairs starting in 2018 63 police officials have been given this. Then we have the GCOS. I told you GCOS is being जो ऑब्जर्व करता है कि हमारे ऑल ओवर क्वेश्चन की अगर आप बोलो कौन सी चीज को इट ऑब्जर्व द OCV ACV, that is essential climatic variables, and उनको observe करके वो बताते हैं कि what are changes we need to make in order for a sustainable climate, and it is being funded by 4. That is, you have the UNEP, then the UNESCO partner, and then you have what do you call WMO and ISC. Okay. Then we have the Harit ICAR initiative. Of course, Harit means National Unity Day. ICAR, that is the income type, said that we will plant greenery, that is microforest of which needs around 8 to 9 months care around the ICAR buildings and in general areas. Okay. Not only in ICAR buildings but otherwise also. It is launched by CBDT. Please remember. Okay. ICAR Vibhag, CBDT. Done. Is that for all for today? Yes. Let's discuss CLAT question paper UG 2022 Consortium of National Law Universities Common Law Admission Test 2022. Booklet contains 44. And let's. How many of you have solved Pranjal Avi?
Sir, I've seen the paper, but I've not solved it yet.
Avi? Avi? Azila? What about in the class?
I've seen the paper, solved the current affairs section.
How many were you able to solve?
The first 3 passages were.
We see a pattern. English has 30 questions. 35. Then another. The least weightage that comes out to be quantitative and logical follows that. Legal, making it the medicine. We have English language. Let's start. Pranjal, you can download this from what do you call, Google or something. It's already available, right?
Okay, so please can you send this once in the group also?
Public speaking is a powerful real life skill. Over the centuries, before reading that, don't you understand? You should first see what the question is. sometimes it's not necessary to नहीं ऐसे होगा. But you cannot answer this question directly by not reading. है ना? You need to give a read. And further, let's see the tone of surrender speech again. You need to see. You need to read the passage. Okay, let's quickly read it out. So why is it getting many lines of the line? I'm just feeling here. Is it readable for you people? For the nearly it is quite readable. Can you people read it out? You can read it out. Okay, then we can. Public speaking is a powerful real life skill. Over the centuries, impressive speeches made by people from various walks of life have helped to change hearts, minds, shape of the world we can see today. Speeches that are delivered with intense emotions and conviction can infuse compassion and forgiveness, elevate levels of hatred and destruction, break or unite nations. October 5, 1877, in the mountains of Montana Territory, when Chief Joseph surrendered to the General Nelson A. Miles, the former gave a surrender speech. We have seen surrender speech का question आया हुआ है, ठीक है? So this needs better reading. Now what is it? He said the speech included these words: "It is cold and we have no blankets. The little children are freezing to death. I want time to look for my children and see how many of them I can find. Maybe I shall find them among the dead. Hear me, my chiefs. I am tired. My heart is sick and sad. From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever." This heart-wrenching speech bared the grief and misery of the speaker and those subjected to the overwhelming hardships. During World War II, the speech "We Shall Fight on the Beaches," delivered by Winston Churchill on June 4, 1940, is considered to be as a high-powered speech that strengthened the determination of those present in the House of the Commons. In the speech, he said, "Even though large tracts of Europe and many old and famous states have fallen or may fall into the grip of Gestapo, and all the odious apparatus of Nazi rule, we shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island. Whether the cost may be, we shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and streets. We shall fight in the hills." In 1915, William Faulkner was honored with the Nobel Prize for significant contributions to the American novel. This was the time when Soviet Union had found the possible implications of the use of atomic bomb, and the people had begun to live on the fear of annihilation. In his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, Faulkner urged the writers of various genres to think and write beyond fear of destruction and instead write materials that would lift the spirit. The powerful message included, "I believe that the man will not merely endure, he will prevail. He is immortal, not because he is alone among creatures, has an inexhaustible voice, but because he has a soul, a spirit capable of compassion and sacrifice and endurance. The poets, the writer's duty is to write about these things. It is his privilege to help man endure by lifting his heart, by reminding him of the courage and horror, honor and hope and pride and compassion and pity and sacrifice which have been the glories of the past. The poet's voice needs not merely be the record of a man. It can be one of the props, the pillars to help him endure and prevail." Undoubtedly, effective speeches have long-lasting impact on the minds of the listeners, and they elevate the levels of the awareness and actions of the speaker intends to raise or catalyze. Let's read. Very simple paragraph. They use basically 3-4 examples. One was Winston Churchill's, other is William Faulkner's, and the third one is that surrender speech. ठीक है? बाकी तो छोटा सा ही था, सिर्फ इतना से पढ़ना था, बाकी तो ऊपर इंट्रोडक्शन का नीचे कंक्लूजन था. ठीक है? Let's read out simple passage. The main idea of the passage is that all leaders should be accomplished public speakers. क्या ऐसा बोलना चाहते हैं passage? I don't think so. An impactful speech can convey a strong message to the listeners. That can be. Let me just go on to the next. A speech should be pleasing to the ear. यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा तो बोला नहीं, ears to the listeners. ये कोई म्यूजिक थोड़ी है जो pleasing होना चाहिए. Public speaker should be bold and argumentative. अगर argumentative होंगे तो काम होगा. And plus इतनी bold statements तो वैसी गलत होती है. So the answer is B. Next. The tone of the surrender speech दी थी, याद है कि आप surrender करो किसको? All my chiefs and children, very heart-wrenching speech. Remember? So what is the surrender speech here? The tone of this surrender speech is very satiric. The satire है optimistic, positive है, poignant and narcissistic. बोलो. It is poignant. It's very soft. It's very delicate. It's basically very heart-wrenching, very heartwarming. It is evident through this speech. Churchill, Winston Churchill की speech कौन सी पढ़ी थी हमने? We will fight on the hills. We will fight on that. Remember this one? We will fight on the beach. We will fight in that. So what does he say? It is evidence of the speech. Churchill wished to. अब क्या है? दो dash है. To inform his countrymen about the challenges that arise in a war-torn country. To warn against the futility of the war. Warn तो उसने कुछ करा ही नहीं है. Warn तो दे ही नहीं रहा, वो तो बल्कि बोल रहा है, provoke कर रहा है, मतलब बता रहा है कि fight करो जहां पर भी है. To remind how their endeavors to fight against, don't answer before, है ना? Let all of that understand first. Remind how their endeavors to fight against the Nazi rule had failed miserably. अगर ये होता उसने अपनी हार के बारे में बताना होता तो वो कैसे चलता? उसकी स्पीच तो बड़ी पावरफुल लग रही है. It is actually making us go into the field and fight against them. To reassure that they would combat fiercely against the enemy under all circumstances. So basically वो assurance ही दे रहा था. Basically वो बता रहे inform. अब देखो A and D can be suitable, but I need to see which one is the best. Inform about the challenges that have arise. उन्होंने देखो कोई भी चैलेंज के बारे में नहीं बताया कि हाँ जी ये चीजें आप फेस करोगे, बल्कि उसने बताया कि आप लड़ो बीचेस पे, स्ट्रीट पे, हिल्स पे, एयर में, सी में, ओशन में, फेल नहीं करेंगे हम कभी, ठीक है, और नाजी के अप्रेंटिस के अंडर झुकेंगे. राइट और रॉन्ग? इट इज बेसिकली, अगर आप यहाँ से देखो ना, जस्ट रीड दिस लाइन ओनली, you'll get the answer. This line. It is considered as a high-powered speech that strengthen the determination. Strengthen the determination. That means it is basically reassuring that they would combat fiercely. Next, which of the following is the least likely to be used to describe Churchill? Least likely, मतलब ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता. अब बोलो क्या है? Resolute, undaunted, complacent, and unwavering. Which one of the following is the least likely to use to describe Churchill? Do one thing. All of you open your. How many of you know the meanings of all four of that? How many of you know the meaning of all this? What is resolute? What is undaunted? What is complacent? And what is unwavering? Bolo.
Determined.
Undaunted. Do one thing immediately. I'll give you ऐसे करता हूँ, अभी करते हैं exercise. Pranjal, you find the meaning of resolute. Avi, undaunted. Harshita, complacent. And what do you have? Gitanjali, unwavering. Jaldi se. Let's take 1 minute. Open your Google. Tell me the meaning. Anish, you can just check
So
out.
resolute means determined.
It's mean determined. Undaunted. Avi, jaldi.
Courageously resolute, especially in the face of danger or difficulty.
Courageous. Complacent. I'll keep on writing also. Determined. हर्षिता अभी तक बताया नहीं कि आपसे undaunted was courageous.
Uncritical satisfaction with one.
Complacent क्या है? अभी तक बताया नहीं.
Uncritical satisfaction with one.
No, I don't want the exact Google meaning. Tell me what do you understand? Complacent.
So not resolute, not determined.
Not determined. Unwavering. She's saying not determined. And complacent बोला जल्दी से कोई भी. Avi, Pranjal, any of you? Complacent, Anish? Which one of the following is least likely to describe Churchill?
Overconfident.
Overconfident. Complacent is overconfident.
Sir, complacent.
Complacent. No. This is over. What is it? Overconfident is the meaning? Bolo. Firstly, the meaning of this is not determined. You cannot say this is unwavering is not determined. What is the meaning of this? Determined. Unwavering matlab you are not moving from your stand. You're firm. नाम से पता चल रहा है. So see, Churchill was determined. Churchill was courageous. Churchill was unwavering in his thought, but Churchill was not so very complacent. Least likely. Over confident, I can say that, but I cannot say it is the least I could say. So this is basically the answer is C. That's why, have you all brought 3 notebooks?
Yes.
Who has brought? You have also brought 3 notebooks? Jaldi, Gitanjali, the whole class is waiting for you. Open one of the notebooks and make that notebook as English. Okay. Quickly, I cannot spend so much time on this. Quickly. ये टास्क में अभी ड्रिल बता रहा हूँ, अगली पारी से आपको खुद को पता होना चाहिए, बस सिर्फ मैं बोलूंगा, ठीक है? Make the first notebook as English. Anjali write resolute is determined, undaunted is courageous. Quickly. Complacent is overconfident, and unwavering is firm on your stand. Next we have in the sentence, the poet's voice need not merely or be the record of man, it can be one of the props, the pillars, to help him endure and prevail. Faulkner has used to convey the power of poets' writings in a form of metaphor, simile, onomatopoeia, or transcript epithet. Boliye. Now again, write down all the meanings of this. Because in this manner only we will learn out. Write the next heading as poetry devices. And under poetry devices, write out metaphor. Then you write second word, just leave a line, leave 2 lines rather. And write onomatopoeia. Then leave 2 lines. What are you waiting? Write simile and leave 2 lines, a transferred epithet. So अब आप बताइए metaphor क्या होता है, and इसके नीचे एक और भी लिखो personification. What is metaphor? Leave 2 lines and write. What is personification? Metaphor? When you relate some natural thing with some, yeah. So what is this? Directly a metaphor. Answer is A. But your homework is जो मैंने 2 लाइनें छुड़वाई है. Are you guys also maintaining a notebook, Pranjal and Avi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
मैंने जो 2 लाइनें छुड़वाई है, उन 2 लाइनों में आपने उनके मीनिंग लिखने हैं, and you have to give me a sentence. I'll be checking first in this homework. I'll also note down because I sometimes tend to forget what homework I've given. Give me a pen. I'll just write here, check English homework. Avi and this Pranjal, you will also send me directly this on WhatsApp. Okay? When
Yes.
I'll ask for one. Next. As a 6-year-old child beggar, Saru slept off in a stationary train in Khandwa, Madhya Pradesh. However, when he woke up, he found himself in an empty apartment of train thundering towards Kolkata, where he spent a couple of weeks in a state of panic and hopelessness. Finally, he ended up in a local government adoption center, from where he was adopted by an Australian couple. 25 years later, Saru felt the urge to trace his biological mother and see in what state she lived. Relentlessly used Google's satellite feature to map the parts of the country that could have possibly have been his hometown. The search was long and arduous one. Nevertheless, the perseverance didn't pay. One eventful day, he met his mother. Thereafter, he continued to keep in touch with her. If technology can unite people with their loved ones, it can also make them distant. The unlimited variety of applications available to toddlers, teenagers, and adults might have revolutionized the lives of the better. But these very apps have snatched away the joys of long nature walks. They have encroached upon the time and space that people earlier used for physical interaction. They have drilled deep chasms of loneliness in the lives of countless numbers of people. Simple pleasures of life, visiting friends, relatives, playing matches in open spaces, interacting with the people in markets, public libraries, and clubs. However, with the escalating rage of using apps for those in social media, playing virtual games, home delivery services, these joyous moments are fading into oblivion, and the pall of loneliness is getting heavier by the day. Where we are heading to? Are we going to ourselves to be swamped by apps? Are we going to allow social media to engulf us in a deluge of loneliness and isolation? Are we going to drive ourselves to situations that will ultimately demand physical and mental therapies to regain normalcy? Do we not know the physical interaction is an essential for mental health as food and water is for physical health? Now, we have an option. This is a long paragraph. Earlier, social isolation was mostly experienced by some of the elder people who were devoid of an occupation, right? Where is it? Yeah. This screen is coming in between. No? Hardly able to see. Yeah. Earlier, social isolation was mostly experienced by some of the elderly people who were devoid of an occupation and therefore of the company of their loved ones. Unfortunately, today, a healthy solitude prevails amongst numerous children, teenagers, and adults. To subsequently, there's an alarming increase in demand for mental health therapy. The necessity of engaging psychologists in school and colleges is evidently on the rise. The psychologists are required to identify and address the learning and behavioral needs of the student who approach them for guidance. Moreover, if required, the professionals are expected to help them in strengthening their emotional and social academic skills. Regardless how alarming the situation might be, it is never too late. If people revert to the earlier trend of shopping offline, going for nature walks, playing outdoor, and catching up with friends in their homes and cafe more frequently, they can keep their heads firmly well above the ocean of loneliness. From the passage, it is evident that Saro's desire to find his mother ended up being a distant dream. No. Mila wo apne brother ko. Inspired him to use Google satellite feature intermittently. कारण तो नहीं था inspire करने के लिए. And as time went by, क्या भूल गया? जैसा no. Did not slacken till he succeeded. Yes, तब तक हार नहीं मानी जब तक उसने जीत नहीं पाई. In the sentence, these very apps have snatched away the joys of long nature walks. The author has said he has satirized nature, he has metaphorized apps, he has personified apps, none of the web. He has nothing to do with the nature because he's talking of the apps. Metaphorized apps means app is also non-living. Walking also. I'm talking not by foot. It's basically walk. Walk, what is that? It's a verb. We are doing that. Personified. He's personifying this. Yes, apps are a part of basically are taking away the long nature walks. This is personified. 6 is D. 6 is D. 7 is C. Then we have. From the passage, one can conclude it is impossible for the people to reduce the usage of apps. Impossible, no. There is a direct correlation between the loneliness and excessive use of social media. Yes, that can be true. But I have to see baki kya hai. The usage of technology is essential for mental health. Technology essential. All senior citizens are lonely because they do not tech savvy. That is absolute. All to bas chhodi do. Answer is 9. From the passage, it can be inferred that presently in many educational institutions, the number of teachers who pass the buck to psychologists is on the rise. That's not exactly what's said, but let's see. Special emphasis is being laid on the mental and emotional health of the truth. That is true. The usage of educational apps is being discouraged significantly. No, education app के लिए तो particularly कोई बात करी नहीं गई उसमें. All the students feel the need to be counseled by. No, not all. सारे थोड़ी वो है. ये तो काटा बच गया. So we are left with A and B. Number of teachers who pass the buck to psychologists is on the rise. They never said teachers की employment के बारे में थोड़ी बात करी गई है. If you see, it is primarily B that is coming into picture. I'm talking, which is the best that we can say in this series. Next, We have in the concluding paragraph of the given passage, the writer's tone can be best described as. What is the concluding paragraph? जो मैंने अभी loneliness की बात करी थी. He's optimistic, है ना? Shopping offline, going to nature walks outdoors, go with friends, and can firmly well in the ocean of loneliness. So what is he? He's basically optimistic. क्या apologetic? Not at all. Despairing क्या होता है? Hopelessness. छोड़ ही दी उम्मीद ही छोड़ दी. ऐसा तो नहीं है. Apologetic, माफी. Laudatory, तालियां बजा रहे. Very good. Please continue watching apps. That's not what he's saying. He's optimistic. He's positive. Yes, my words will make a difference. Yes, the factor of loneliness will go away. Next, wash your hands. That's been the safety mantra ever since the pandemic has been swamping around the world. Undoubtedly, washing hands has been proven to be the best way to keep germs at bay. Unfortunately, the medical practitioner who first promoted the importance of the simple activity is subjected to intense humiliation and ultimately declared insane. Ignaz Semmelweis was a Hungarian doctor in 1847. As an obstetrician, he was distributed the post-delivery amongst every 13 women who died of the unexpected malady. He observed that a past offset. I don't think you need to read this so much, but let me. Question tone के बारे में ज़्यादा question है. Let's see. So he observed that as a part of the set routine, medical students and doctors would examine and study that corpses in the mortuary and come for the rounds to the maternity ward. Here, without washing their hands, they would examine the expectant mother. After making numerous hypotheses and observations, he was convinced that when doctors wash their hand before examining the woman in the ward, the number of deaths due to serious infection declined. He shared his observations with his colleagues and many others working in the field of medicine, but unfortunately could not provide any concrete evidence to the theory. Sadly, due to the vehement criticism that he received, he went into the depression. Furthermore, Ignaz tried to prove his point so relentlessly that it led to the belief that he had lost his mind. In 1865, to prove his point, a doctor deceptively lured him into the asylum for the insane, and 2 weeks of the brutal treatment that was meted out to him by the attendants led to his ultimately untimely death. Untimely death. About 20 years later, when the world became more receptive to the works of the scientists like Louis Pasteur and Joseph Lester, awareness regarding germs that cause diseases began to spread. And this is the time that Ignaz was honored with the titles the father of hand hygiene and savior of mothers, and honored much too late. Some of the most celebrated artists that have earned fame after their death, it is a tragedy that Vincent van Gogh's awe-inspiring work was labeled and strange amateur by most of the critics at that time. It is believed that he sold out only 1 or 2 paintings in his lifetime, and that too for a meager amount. Today, every single painting of Vincent van Gogh paintings is worth millions of dollars. Franz Kafka was a proficient writer, but when he published a few pages of his writing, he received immense criticism. Before his death in 1924, he handed over his unpublished novels and stories to his friend Max Brod and urged him to destroy them. However, Brod got this manuscript published. Today, Franz was one of the major fiction writers of the 20th century. The novels titled The Trial, published in 1920, and The Castle, published in 1926, were considered to be 2 of his masterpieces. Perhaps if humans were more tolerant and amenable to change, innovative concepts, theories, and creations, the deserving world would live to experience the glory and honor they rightfully deserve. Now let's see. The main idea of the passage is that all written theories and works should be receive unreserved acceptance. Not all. Many undeserving innovators have been honored after their demise. That can be. Creativity must never be inhibited. Well, creativity को नहीं होना चाहिए. Numerous innovators have found recognition and appreciation of their works posthumously. Now, what do you see? Which one you see is the best answer for this? Is it B or is it D or C? First is many undeserving innovators have been honored after their demise. Second, creativity must never be inhibited. And third, numerous innovators have found recognition and appreciation of their works posthumously. I guess this is the one that should be there. D. Right? Has Avi left again? We'll do, I guess, one more passage. Yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay. Day is 7:33. So 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. From the passage, it is evident that Dr. Igna's theory was rejected because he could not substantiate it. Yes, true. The doctors did not want him to regulate the birth cycle. No, he has been declared as insane. Declare तो नहीं करा गया था. जोसेफ लिस्टन पे उसका क्या लेना देना? जोसेफ लिस्टन, लुइस पास्टर ने ये थोड़ी करा था. जॉन्स तो डिस्कवरी करा था. So I'll say A. From the passage, one can conclude that the art critics who applauded Van Gogh's works were pessimistic, who censured Van Gogh's works were hypercritical, who denounced Van Gogh's works were tolerant. So अब ये तो देख लो, art critics Van Gogh के टाइम पर tolerant तो नहीं थे. Who?
Pessimistic.
I'll tell you, optimistic का opposite क्या है? From the passage, one can conclude the art critics who acclaimed तो करा ही नहीं था अभी तक. तो कहाँ उसको मिला था उसका justification? उसको claim तो करा ही नहीं था. ये दो तो cancel हो गए. Who applauded तो करा ही नहीं उन्होंने. They were hypercritical. पहली बात तो देखो, what I'm trying to teach you, I'm not trying to teach you Oxford Dictionary. Please, I'm not here to teach you Oxford Dictionary. What I am trying to teach you is smartness, which you will not get in any other institute as such. What smartness? Even if you do not know the meaning of a particular word, at least you put it in the sentence and find out. One or the two of the options में पता है. This is 2 words, 1 option. One word you eliminate. Obviously, the answer is wrong. You can strike off that option. You left with the less left option. That's what I did, and I found the answer. And I'm sure this is the answer. Let me just type also. This is the answer. From the passage, it can be inferred that Max Brod was of the opinion that France has never reached out to the right critics. Okay. He decreed France's writings. Max Brod, पता है कौन है? Max Brod, ये रहा मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट वाला, जिसने स्टोरी बुक अपने मरने के बाद उसको दी थी फ्रांस को. ठीक है. From the passage, it can be inferred that Max Brod was of the opinion that France has not reached out to the right critics. France, no. He decreed France's writings. No. He considered it unscared to destroy any manuscript. No. He appreciated and valued France's works. तभी उसको हुआ, तभी उसने फ्रांस का काम लिया था. Right or wrong? Next. So answer is the word relentlessly in the passage has been can be best replaced by irresolutely. Where is relentlessly? Where in the passage is relentlessly? Can someone help me out? Find it out. Close to. Where is relentless? Pranjal?
Fifth last line of the second. To prove his point so relentlessly.
कहाँ यहाँ?
The first time, yeah, it's Krishna posing.
How? To prove his point so. Furthermore, Ignace strived to prove his point so relentlessly that it led to the belief that he lost his mind. Let's talk about relentless is. It says the word relentlessly, irresolutely. अभी resolute का मतलब समझाता है. What does resolute mean? Irresolutely, not determined. ऐसे तो नहीं था. Recklessly, reckless क्या होता है? Careless. Very good. Careless तो था ही. वो अपने लिए तो बहुत सीरियस था. ये इग्नस, उसको लगा था मेरा काम सेट है, वो दिखा नहीं पा रहा था किसी को. Unabatedly, what is unabatedly? How many of you know the meaning of unabatedly? Pranjal, you check out the meaning of unabatedly and you check out the meaning of unabashedly. जल्दी बोलो. What is it, Pranjal? Unabatedly means not embarrassed. लिखो जल्दी.
So
Unabashedly.
without being weak.
Unabatedly is without being weak.
Yes, sir.
And unabashedly means not embarrassed. अब बताओ. The word relentlessly in the passage can be best replaced by not embarrassed. Unabashedly means ashamed. Not ashamed or ashamed. Not embarrassed. Disconcerted.
Without.
Not ashamed. So he was not ashamed. So what do we see? We see that two meanings यहाँ पे set बैठ रहे हैं. Unabashedly is Pranjal. Once more.
So without being weak.
Without being weak. Let's see. Not ashamed without being weak. To prove his point not being weak, that it led to the belief that he had lost his mind. To prove his point that not ashamed,
Without an impact.
that it led to the belief that he had lost his mind. Which is the former or latter?
B.
Former. Because he was not ashamed. ठीक है. Both of them are correct as compared to the paragraph. As compared to the line you see. He was not ashamed of what he had did. But he was not weak also of what not he did. उसको लोगों ने पागल declare कर दिया. But was he weak? Right, Pranjal?
Yes, sir.
So today we are wrapping the classes at 7:40. Okay, tomorrow we'll be discussing 4, 5, 6. It's better you read out this paragraph. Okay? 30 tak. And then we have the current affairs also. So we will do one thing. Tomorrow's class, 6 o'clock here. Well, let's see if the timings can change. Otherwise, first 30 minutes of would be your here as always. The next 30 minutes would be these 15 questions. 15 questions of what? Of this English.